Anatomy 2 people, 5139. Good morning or afternoon or evening, whenever you're watching this. Just going to throw together a quick intro video, make sure everything's working partly, and kind of try and tell you what we're doing this semester since I can't see you in person. Of course, this semester, this class is supposed to be all in person in the classroom. However, the first week is not. So the 11th, the 13th, and the 15th, if you're in class 15th, I'm making this for both sections. We are not on campus at all. They don't want you here. Sounds kind of harsh, but they want you here. They can't have you here, I guess. So I'm going to go over a few things, just kind of how the class will be set up if you haven't had me before for anatomy. And then I'll add a little PowerPoint with some narration, just go over the syllabus real quick, so at least we don't have to take any class time for that. So first of all, we are meeting in person. I'm making this for two different sections, but I think all sections are meeting for lecture on Monday and Wednesday. I've got two sections. One of you will have your lab Monday afternoon. Check the time, it's changed. If you had lab on Monday, I think it was originally scheduled from 12 to 2. I scheduled it at exactly the same time I had the other anatomy lecture. That won't work. So the Monday's lab is moved to 2 to 4. The other section, I think, meets on Friday for the lab from 12 to 2. That one is, I think, to accommodate people that are in nursing 1. So if you're in nursing, you won't be having a Friday lab. What we're going to do this week, I'm probably not going to emphasize too much this week. I'm sick of online stuff. You probably are too. That's why you took an in-person section. I know there were online sections available. So we do have small sections, so we can spread out a bit. We may even split the lab up initially into 2 classrooms. Once I do the introductions, they have room. But basically, we're going to start, I believe it's chapter 17 in the textbook. Take a look at it. We're starting on the endocrine system. Again, this isn't an endocrine lecture, but basically it's a second major control system in the body. We use the nervous system as a sort of starting point since they have some overlap in their function. So look on the Blackboard page, get familiar with that if you haven't used mine before. Mine are probably a lot sloppier than other instructors. But you'll find a section for the syllabus. Go over that. I'll put a little PowerPoint at the end of this video that goes over the syllabus, some of the class policies, that sort of thing. So we'll take a look at that. There is a set of notes for this section. You look on Blackboard, there's a tab on the left that says HB Kim Notes. They're called HB Kim Notes because a former student named HB Kim wrote them. I believe he's a doctor somewhere near here now. Smart guy. But he took the class, did this awesome set of notes. It's a PDF file. It goes along pretty much the way I lectured. He added some little photographs and diagrams. It's really good. They help you. Use them. That's your set of notes. If they don't help you, don't use them. But they're free and they're posted on Blackboard. So use those. I encourage it. They do summarize the lecture material pretty well. So you'll have the HB Kim notes to look at. Now the other thing is the Connect Smart book we're using this semester. Last semester was Learn Smart. We're in the middle of changing editions. So there might be some issues here. I have posted the Learn Smart or the Smart book assignment for the endocrine system already for both sections. Go ahead and try and use it. See if you can do it, because some of you will have different editions. So if you have some issues with it, send me an email. 2 things can happen. Sometimes I link to the wrong publisher's textbook, then no one can get it. That's my fault. The other issue we might have, some of you I believe have the 9th edition. Some of you have the 8th, because that's what happens in 2. I get people from last semester and 2 semesters to go. In the summer, they come and take Anatomy 2 now. They won't all have the same edition. So there might be some problems connecting with Connect. If that's the case, send me an email. I didn't think I introduced myself. I was too excited to just say something to you guys. I am on the syllabus, David Nussbaumer. I'm the one that's paid to torment you. I can teach you this semester. But send me an email. My email is on the syllabus as well. Like I said, I'll go over that in a minute. If you have issues with the McGraw-Hill Connect system, I don't know what I'll do with it. Sometimes they're kind enough to give people who have an older edition access. They'll give you a separate access code. If you had the 8th edition and you got it just a semester ago, you're still covered. They'll let you in. If it's been a little while, like 3 semesters, your original access ended, and they might force you to buy new access. Wait on that, buying anything anyway, till we meet in person. I'm not going to obligate you to do the Learn Smart necessarily, or the Smart book. So I don't know if I want you to spend the $100 or so it costs if you don't have access. Most of you should already have access. If you took it in the fall semester or you took it in fall semester, you should, or you're starting this semester, you should have access. Just check it, send me an email if you don't, so I can try and fix it or do something else. So Learn Smarts are already up, notes are already up, the syllabus is already up. Take a look at them. Lectures. I'm really getting sick of online lectures and video lectures, but just so I don't get too far behind, although we should be in good shape this semester. I have the normal amount of lecture time, so I should be okay. But I'll probably post just a few short lectures on the endocrine system, at least to get us started. I don't know if I'll actually finish it, because I kind of want you to come in and be able to ask some questions. But I'm going to post probably just a couple of 20-minute video lectures with some PowerPoint spread in over the first bit of the endocrine system, and we'll wrap it up when you get back. As far as assignments, I'm supposed to give you something the first week so I know who's here and who's not. I don't like to do syllabus quizzes because they're kind of a waste of time, I think. So, I'd say work on those Learn Smarts. If you can't get around to those yet, just send me an email. Hey, I'm in anatomy. That would help. I'm going to basically tell the registrar's office I have to wait a week before I do any no-shows. And that's really just if no one's in class the first week, I'll automatically withdraw them, and so I won't send in any no-shows, whether you're here or not, probably the first week. But start taking a look at the material. I'll post this, it's kind of the introduction, on the little video lecture section. I'll send out an announcement, and look for 1 or 2 more short videos this week on the endocrine system, and that's probably all we'll do online. So, the assignment is start looking at the textbook, chapter 17, start working on the Learn Smart, and go ahead and watch the intro and the other video lectures. And we'll call that the first week, and then we'll probably get into it more seriously next week. So I'll add a little bit more at the end of this with the syllabus, and I will see you in person next week.
All right, so let's see. I'll go over the syllabus briefly, just kind of part of the introduction, so we don't have to do it later. Let's see. Of course, this is Human Anatomy Physiology 139. Now, this syllabus right here is not. It's not for both sections, or it is. The syllabus is for one of your sections. I got 2, so the times are not the same. One of you meets 10:30, 11:45. The other group, I believe, is 12:45 to 2. So same room, but the sections are different. But otherwise, the syllabus is identical. And of course, I'm Dave Nussbaumer. There we go. Again, I'll be teaching you for this semester. My office, if you need to see me for something, it's room 219 here in the science building. It's right across from the anatomy lab, which is 201. So it's easy to, come and see me. Office phone number, if you need to call me, that's the office phone number. You can leave a message. My email is down here. Now, if you need a response, if you have a question and you want an answer, send the email. I'll get a message on the phone, but I'm just telling you, I don't return phone calls worth a darn. So send the email if you need an answer. If you're driving down the road and I don't know, your engine blows, or your kid throws up in the back seat, that's all right. You can send me a phone message. I'll get it. I'll hear it. Just if you have a question, use the email. I respond to those pretty well. Phones, not so much. Office hours, I do have a few set up Tuesday and Thursday, 10 to 12. Honestly, that's not even the day you're on campus. These may change. Basically, if you need to see me, let me know. I can see you before lab, after lab, before lecture. There's plenty of times. I'm not even sure if they want us using our office for real office hours. You can also just send me emails if you have questions, and we can take care of most things that way. But if you need to see me, just certainly ask. The textbook should be the same one you were using last semester. Now, the problem I have in this section is some of you might have taken this in the summer. Some of you might have taken it in the fall. The timing is a little off. We're using Saladin. Some of you may have the 8th edition. Some of you may have the 9th. Either one will do. The textbook is fine. It doesn't matter. Where we might come into issues is the McGraw-Hill Connect, the Smart Book assignments. I don't know if you'll have access, and I don't know if your old access, if you have the 8th edition, will work with the linkage to the new edition. So if you have any trouble with the Learn Smarts, you're going to have to send me an email, and I'll probably work on fixing it after we meet in person, because I'll have to contact the book rep, see what they can do for us, if anything. All right, now this next page. Of course, your syllabus is one page. I split it up into a couple so it would fit on these and it's a little easier to read. But the grading, the way we'll do this, typically, again, there might be changes, it depends on how the semester goes, but usually I'll give you 3 1-hour tests. When we take a test, those are all we do for that hour. You come in, you take the exam, you have an hour and 15 minutes. When you're done, you turn it in, you leave. Those are, we use a point value. So about 100 points each for the exams. You'll get one final exam at the end of the semester on exam week. I have the date below. I'll mention it in a bit. That's all multiple choice. You have 2 hours to take it. It covers everything. Everybody loves those. Now, we'll tell you the 100-point exams, the normal exams, they will be a mix of questions. Get some multiple choice, especially if I'm getting lazy with the grading. But you can have a lot of short answers, I call them. They're open-ended questions, but you don't have to write paragraph after paragraph. You can usually, sometimes just drawing a table or, if you know what's going on, a few sentences will answer it, lists of terms. They're not terribly long, but they're open-ended. You'll also get fill in the blanks because they're a little more challenging than multiple choice. So the format of the exams will vary a little bit. It's not all multiple choice on these exams. You might get some. Final exam is all multiple choice. At the end of the semester, it's usually about 150 questions, I think. Then you'll get some lecture quizzes. Now, the number here might vary a bit. Normally, in a normal semester, I give about 4, maybe 5, counting one take-home quiz. Depending on how the timing goes, that could be one less. It might be 3 or 4, but we'll see. The quizzes typically worth 25 points each. They're usually like 11, 12, 13 multiple choice questions, and then maybe one short answer, open-ended. We take those at the beginning of the class. Usually they take about 20 minutes to do. Then we continue lecturing. I'll typically drop the lowest lecture quiz. So you end up with about 100 points at the end of the semester for the quizzes. You'll have laboratory exams. Now, these are going to be a little trickier this time. Usually you've had a couple of practical lab exams in Anatomy 1. But I realize most of you have not because it's all been online virtual junk, which is not the same. So these are a little traumatic maybe. Basically for the lab exams, I'll show you the dates. They're on a schedule. You'll see them later. But one's at about midterm, one's at the end of the semester, typically. And what these are, you'll get some practice with quizzes before we take them, lab quizzes. But I spread out like 100, 110 items on the table. Cats with their chest opened up and pins stuck in various blood vessels. And you got a blank sheet of paper and a pencil. And then you get to a little spot, it'll say, identify, the blood vessel at 1. And you find pin number 1. And you see it stuck in some blood vessel. You just got to know the name. So it's all got to be up here. It'll have, microscope slides of endocrine glands. You'll have to be able to identify the gland. It'll be under a microscope. It'll just say, identify this gland or organ. You'll look in the microscope. You'll say, oh, that's the adrenal gland. And then it'll ask, a few other questions. So the practical exams, and then it's the stuff you've looked at in lab on the table. You have to, things are, I'll point out things, and you just have to tell me what they are. So the lab exams will be tricky. Now, I tried something different last semester because we had the same issues. You may get 3 of these just because usually you've had Anatomy 1 and you understand the trauma of these lab practicals. They don't catch you by surprise in Anatomy 2. But now, probably very few of you have had a practical exam. So I don't want to cream someone with a 20% on that first exam and then you're kind of half doomed the rest of the semester. So last semester, I gave 3 lab exams. One over the first half of the material, a second one over the second half of the material. Then I gave a third one at the end of the semester covering everything like a comprehensive lab exam. And I selected the 2 highest grades and chucked out the lowest. So I'm thinking of trying that again this semester. It worked okay. And then it kind of lets you recover if you get one credit exam because you weren't sure what to expect. Let's see, Connect assignments. So they have, what are they called now? They used to be Learn Smart. Now they're Smart Book assignments. I'm not sure what I'm doing with those yet. You will have some. I've already posted one on the endocrine system. They might be worth 2 to 5 points. Access might be an issue for some of you. I'll have to clear that up when we meet in person. Again, if you have access, you got the McGraw-Hill Connect. You should have a passcode. You can go through the Blackboard page, look at the Learn Smart assignments or Connect assignments. It'll take you right to the publisher's site, and you'll see the little assignment. They take a little while, but you basically do them until you get all the points. So I recommend you do them. I think the first one I put up was worth 5 points. They're almost free points. You're going to get them if you do it. But that does take an hour and a half to go through just a bunch of questions that refers to the reading. So make sure you do those. You'll have laboratory quizzes. Again, about every couple of weeks, depending on how the semester goes, I give you lab quiz. They're practice for the lab practical. They're much smaller. It might be no more than 10 questions, sometimes as small as 6. But just what we've done the previous 2 labs, basically, there's a few things spread out. When he says, identify this, identify this, identify this, and that's it. I run you through the prep room or something, and we take a little quiz. Again, their points will vary. They're worth, 6 to 10 points each. We'll do 5 or 6 of them. Again, I'll throw out the lowest one. Letter grades, 10-point scale, kind of standard. If you have to have an A and you have a 90% or better, you're going to get an A. B, 80 to 89, and so forth. I will tell you at the end of the semester, I kind of treat grades a little like horseshoes and hand grenades. If you have an 89, that should be a B. It's often an A, kind of, but, below a 90, it depends on how the rest of the class does. If everyone's doing really well, you don't get much help. But if you average a little high, sometimes it's just a little bit. But if you don't want to sweat it, if you have a 90% or better, you definitely got an A. If you're below that, you're hoping over a little bit of luck there. All right, attendance. Attendance is going to be pretty liberal this semester. I mean, this is the spiel here that I usually use every semester, to talk about all the stuff when you have to be there. I'm supposed to take roll the first week for administrative drops, but I don't know if that's going to happen this time, because unless you do the Learn Smart, which you might not have access to, I can't take roll. So we won't worry about it too much. Basically, show up. If you don't show up, you miss the material. Typically, your attendance reflects in your grade quite a bit. That being said, if you have to miss, this semester, you might test positive for COVID. Your kids might be throwing up or be, quarantined or something like that. It's going to happen. Happened last semester. It's fine. If you're going to miss, you send me emails, keep me posted. When you get back in, I'll give you makeup quizzes, and I'll give you, makeup exams and quizzes. It's not a problem. Try not to make a habit of it. I hate doing makeup exams. You got to write a little bit of a different one. But missing classes is going to hurt you a bit, so do it as little as you can. But, it's kind of liberal leave this semester. If you got to miss. If you're sick, don't come in. We'll take care of it. Now, you might, you got a set of HB Kim notes. You can refer to those. You can contact me when you get back. I'll try and at least let you know what we covered. I don't have any notes to give you. I just got the HB Kim notes. And if you know someone in class, you might be able to get a copy of their notes, or ask me and I'll find someone that takes good notes and try and get you a copy. So if you miss, you miss. Just make sure you contact me. Keep me appraised. And I will tell you one thing. As you'll find out as the semester goes, I'm not the most organized guy. So the downside of makeups is, the regular exams and quizzes, I keep them all in a pile. I get them graded. I get them back to you. Everything works fine. But when you take a makeup, it's kind of in the middle of things. I'll take your makeup and throw it in this folder over here, and I forget about it. And so I do have trouble keeping up with the grades and get everything posted when you do a makeup. So if you do a makeup, you got to let me know, hey, I don't have my grade for quiz 2 yet. I did a makeup. I typically don't lose them, but I'll forget to grade them or enter the grades. So just be aware of that. You might have to, some of the grading gets a little slow when I do a lot of makeups. Withdrawal policy for me, basically, as long as you can withdraw with a W, I'll give you permission. I think basically the end of that deadline is about April 30th. If you wait till exam week, the records office, registrar's office won't let you withdraw. That's too late. But up until that point, so basically April 30th is the date I'm saying. If you need to withdraw, go through student self-service, look at the procedures. I'll give you permission. Get the W. Even if something comes up during the semester and you can't finish it, go through the procedure, get the withdrawal. I'll give you permission. You get a W. Doesn't hurt your GPA. Okay, that's enough said there. All righty. This part here, I'm going to call it really tentative because I'm not sure what's going to be happening this semester. We're already kind of going to be close to a week behind. But basically, I try and give you a lecture quiz, lecture exam. About every 2 weeks, you have something. So in about 2 weeks, I think I got January 25th here, should be your first quiz. 2 weeks after that, first exam. So it's about every 2 weeks. Do notice this exam 2 has a long stretch. That's the longest bit of material. You actually have 2 quizzes before you have exam 2. That's the cardiovascular system. It's a long one, so I have to wrap it up before I give the exam. But it's basically every 2 weeks. You have a quiz, an exam, a quiz, an exam, a quiz, an exam. Every 2 weeks. That's more or less the way it goes. Now, these dates are a bit tentative. I typically won't move them earlier, but I might say, hey, we're not going to be done by January 25th. We're going to have to move it to, the next day. I'll push it back, a couple of days or something like that. So keep that in mind, a little tentative. This is your final exam down here. for one of the sections. Keep in mind, this isn't both sections. I think one of you have the final exam on Monday, section B1. I think section B2 is on Wednesday, which would be May 5th. But the exam schedule is made by the college. I don't change it. So these 2-hour blocks are preset. So that one won't change. That one there is fixed. That's for the 10:30 group, I think, to 11:45. And I think the 12:45 group actually has their exam on Wednesday, May 5th at like 1 to 3, I think. But that's fixed. It won't change. The rest of it is just, I don't have the whole syllabus on here, but, don't cheat. The catch, you get a 0. It's just a bad thing all around. If you need an accommodation for a disability, contact the ADA office and numbers on the syllabus. They'll set you up with what you need. There's another big blurb at the bottom I didn't copy over. It's just basically it's a cut and paste from all the syllabi basically have it. It's things can change. Like last semester, they forced us online the last couple of weeks. That's all right. We just have to adjust. The other thing I didn't go over, big chunk of the middle of the syllabus is just the schedule. It's the lecture topics and the labs we'll be going through from week to week, and it has the associated chapters in the text. So that's just to, let you know what we're doing. I think it also has kind of the tentative dates for the lab exams, which are basically midterm and then towards the end of the semester. Lecture stuff is right down here. I think that's it. So I'll plug these videos up, then I'll post them. And if you have questions, send an email. Take care, and I'll see you in person next week.